As the dust settles on United States elections, Donald Trump has begun choosing who will be in his administration for his second term, with figures like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy taking on pivotal roles. How will these selections shape U.S. foreign policy, especially in the Middle East? What do these choices or his choices reveal about his political vision for the United States? Stay tuned as we explore the potential impact of these decisions on the nation's future. Welcome to Think Tank.
Our world is becoming unhinged.
Republicans have won control of the House of Representatives, ushering in a new era of politics in Washington. With the presidency, a Senate, and now House in their grasp, the GOP has secured the powerful trifecta of political power. President-elect Donald Trump and Speaker Mike Johnson have pledged to overhaul the federal government and bring about significant changes in domestic and foreign policy. As reported by the Washington Post, the GOP's victory in the House comes after key wins, including Juan Ciscomani's defeated by Democrat Kristen Ongle in the Arizona 6th Congressional District. Although their agenda has yet to be finalized, Republicans are focused on securing stronger border security measures and quickly reauthorizing Trump's 2017 Tax Cuts and Job Act. However, internal divisions within the party pose challenges, with moderate Republicans and hardliners pushing in different directions for different policies. A week after securing a second term, Donald Trump's presidency is beginning to take shape, with a series of critical appointments signaling his political and strategic priorities.
President-elect Donald Trump has named several figures to essential roles who are likely to influence his stance on immigration, foreign policy, and government efficiency. Trump's hardline immigration approach is evident with the appointments of Stephen Miller and Thomas Homan, both advocates of mass deportations and stricter immigration policies. As the new administration prepares to tackle immigration reform, Miller and Homan are expected to play crucial roles in shaping Trump's controversial agenda. On the foreign policy front, Trump continues to focus on countering China's global influence, appointing vocal critics of Beijing like Mike Waltz and Elise Stefanik. This reflects a broader trend of appointing China hawks who view China as America's main geopolitical rival. However, Trump's approach to the Middle East will also be a key focus. Here, his past policies may be expanded upon in his second term. With a focus on security and counterterrorism, Trump's foreign policy could continue to emphasize alliances in the Middle East while taking a hardline on Iran. A new, unconventional team is emerging within Trump's inner circle, including Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, who are tasked with improving government efficiency. Their role suggests a push for streamlining bureaucracy and cutting waste, but also signals a growing reliance on unconventional figures to achieve Trump's vision for the country.
For more analysis of Trump's latest appointments and their impact on foreign policy, we're joined from Washington by Ginger Champman, a Republican Party member. A very good day and a warm welcome to our show. Champman, how do Trump's recent appointments reflect his broader political and strategic vision for the second term?
Thank you for having me today, and greetings to your viewers. And what we are seeing with Trump's appointments in his second term, it appears he wants to avoid the mistakes he made in his first term, where his original appointments were forced out and replaced by Washington insiders and deep state people, bureaucrats. What we see now with Trump's appointments is it appears he's no longer appointing people merely to run these agencies. His appointments, such as nominating Matt Gaetz as the head of the agency, is he's sending a clear shot across the bow of these agencies that his appointees are now going to root out corruption, root out the deep state actors, and stop the unethical practices that Trump has accused these agencies of doing, specifically targeting their political opponents, targeting Christians, targeting people of faith, and in general, anyone who dissents from the Washington narrative. So what we've seen with Matt Gaetz, he's a very controversial appointment. He is a Trump hardcore loyalist, and he is also someone who's been very outspoken against the Department of Justice and the FBI. Matt Gaetz has accused the Department of Justice of targeting him, and indeed, Matt Gaetz was the subject of a several years long investigation by the DOJ and is now currently under investigation by Congress
Champion,
for ethical.
do you, your perspective and your take, do you see the appointments positive or do you see them negative at the beginning of the questions as we go on with our conversation and interview?
Yes. These appointments have definitely shaken up both Republicans and Democrats. However, the Republicans appear to be, for the most part, very pleased with Trump's appointments. They feel this is how he will execute his agenda and that he is appointing people that are loyal to him and to his vision, as opposed to appointing people with Washington expertise. Now, these appointments are alarming Democrats, and they're already causing some divisions within the Republican Party. Some of the Republicans are very, very pleased with these appointments, especially Gaetz, Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard. However, other Republicans, the older, more establishment Republicans, such as Mitch McConnell, is not aligned with Trump. Mitch McConnell is a former adversary of Trump. And what we've seen from his maneuverings in the Senate, where he called for a special vote to elect the new Senate leader within days of Trump being elected, these maneuvers on the part of Mitch McConnell appear to be setting up the Senate in opposition to Trump. So Trump's appointments are really going to be a test of the Senate, whether they will align with the old establishment Mitch McConnell wing of the Republican Party, or whether the Senate, as well as the House of Representatives, is going to stand behind Trump and align with him and carry out his vision of getting rid of the deep state and the Washington bureaucracy and returning the American government to the American people where it belongs.
Perfect. We move on to Mr. Ahmed Maharim. Mr. Ahmed Maharim, a very warm welcome to our show. How could key figures in the Trump administration impact U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East, sir?
Actually, it's not the first time to give a shock to his own people and the world. It happened with his first time of being in the White House. Now he's turning to the second time. I think he's taking off the table most of the names. It was suggested that he will have a responsibility. It gives a kind of a lot of questions to the American people and around the world as well. I think, for example, the Minister or the Secretary of Defense, the name was suggested is a very famous TV person. He is from the media. Apart from that, he is a well-known person, but to be in charge of such a very, very sensitive position, apart from what some people, they said Trump is always relying on his own people, they trust him. and apart from it's supposed to be a kind of credibility and kind of experience. So that will put the second period of Trump making a lot of questions about what he means, what he aims to do for his own people. Is he coming back to punish other people? He was not in a favorite with them. He would like to give a big punish to the Democrats. Is he going to work for his own agenda? Is he going to make a lot of trouble? America great again. That kind of slogan is actually come to be very sensitive people around the world, especially in Europe.
Okay, sir, I'll leave you there and I'll be back again. What, Ms. Chapman, what impact might Trump's appointments have on U.S. relations with key Middle Eastern allies, which of course is the core of the issue now? Before we continue, could you please let us take a look at key figures and their roles and the... could you please answer the question, please?
Yes, excellent question. And just to comment on what my colleague mentioned, Pete Hegseth is, Trump has nominated him for Secretary of Defense. Everyone is saying he's just a Fox News commentator. However, he actually is a combat decorated veteran, 20 years in Afghanistan, Iraq, Cuba, and he is viewed as someone that will stand up for the common soldier, the man in the army, not protect the generals or the big brass.
So you're against what Mr. Maharim said?
Well, I clarify what my colleague
You're
said.
You're clarifying what he said. So you okay, go ahead.
Thank you so much. And then also, as far as foreign policy, Trump is in a very difficult position because, as we've seen, he repeatedly calls for stopping the killing in Ukraine, and he wants an end to foreign wars. Trump has said repeatedly he wants to bring our soldiers home. He wants to stop sending American men and weapons and our blood and treasure overseas to fight in endless foreign wars. And by some of his appointments, it shows that he does want to restore the military, end foreign wars. However, the Middle East is a very unusual circumstance, and this is causing conflict within the Republican Party. The Middle East is very nuanced. Unlike a country such as Ukraine, where the United States can send men and weapons over, it appears that Israel has an outsized influence on the American government.
Why? Why does Israel have this influence?
That is a very long and complex answer, but we've seen, especially since the 1980s, we've seen a group of dual national citizens form a network of dual nationals high up in our American government. For example, Victoria Nuland, Robert Kagan, Anthony Blinken. Many Americans object to the fact that they have dual nationality, yet they are in charge of the highest offices of our administrative.
Do you read in the light of his appointments or Donald Trump's appointments that Donald Trump is going to do something concrete for the Middle East to stop the atrocities and genocides and ethnic cleansing and displacements that are taking place at this point as we talk?
Yes, one thing we have seen is that Trump is reaching out to Middle Eastern countries. He's reaching out to Lebanon. He wants the fighting to stop. The issue of Israel is very sensitive because we have a group of Republicans who are receive many donations from the Israeli lobby, from AIPAC, from the Sheldonson Political Action Committee, and in fact, several of his nominees, in particular, Governor Mike Huckabee, Elise Stefanik, and Marco Rubio, they're viewed with suspicion by some members of the Republican Party because they have received a lot of donations and money from the American Zionist Organization and the Sheldonson Political Action Committee. On the other hand, we have members of the Republican Party, mainly out of Texas, such as former Congressman Ron Paul, and people in Congress who are pushing for the United States to not be so beholden to Israel and to minimize our support, essentially to stop sending weapons over there because our continued support of Israel appears to be causing increased conflict. Now, one interesting thing about Trump, his new son-in-law that married his youngest daughter is from a Lebanese family, the Bolos family. So Trump is now our only American president who has both a Lebanese son-in-law and also a Jewish son-in-law. We do hope this puts him in a position where he will have to have a more hands-on, more equally balanced approach to the Middle East. And we do realize that the Middle East right now is the hot spot on the globe where World War III is most likely to start. However, we have seen some indications, responses since Trump's election that, for example, Iran has made a statement that perhaps they could work with Trump. We've seen what's happened in Qatar. However, all voices must be heard for the killing to stop.
Ms. Champion, I leave you here and we'll be back again because I really like your opinion and everything that you say, and you're very neutral. You're not biased. And before we continue, let's take a look at key figures and their roles in Donald Trump's second-term administration. Stay tuned. Back again to Mr. Maharem. How might Trump's focus on immigration and national security influence his policy decisions, of course, which is always on top of his agenda regarding Middle Eastern refugees and asylum seekers, sir?
That's the main question, is the re-election of Trump will make the world more peaceful. I think he will have to face a couple of very, very sensitive issues. It's not only the Middle East, Europe, and also the future of the relation on the other side, Korea, China, and Russia as well. What he said by telephone with the president of Russia, he can stop the war in Europe, I mean, between Russia and Ukraine. But the most critical part we're facing from now onward is the Middle East situation. Of course, he said he can control and he can advise Benjamin Netanyahu to do something different. And meanwhile, he is the main...
Sir, I don't want to interrupt you here, but he also said, I'll leave Israel to do whatever it wants to do.
That's exactly what
Donald Trump said.
Agenda. That's exactly the most critical point. What is the future of Lebanon and Israel? There is a good number of the European countries are not happy with the what Benjamin Netanyahu is doing, and they will not be on the favorite of what Trump is going to assist or to help Israel anymore in the future, and giving the chance to Benjamin Netanyahu to give or to have or to receive or to occupy more land. That exactly is going to be very critical with his future relationship with the Arab world.
Champman, what's the potential influence of figures like Mike Waltz and Marco Rubio on U.S.-China relations?
Yes, very good question.
Thank you so much.
Mike Walls and Rubio, they have demonstrated in the past that they are anti-China, they are highly interventionist, and they believe their role would be to take a more active role in containing China, also containing Russia. Now, this appears to be an older way of thinking as new Republicans are making their voices heard. Especially, it should be noted, Republicans coming out of Texas and coming out of the South, they are saying that no more foreign wars means no more foreign wars. And the
Mr.
United
Maharim,
States.
what do you think and what's your take on what Ms. Champman is saying now?
The immigrant reform, he's talking about to get out 20 million of the people. They are, some of them are illegal. That's going to be critical to the economy and to social and stability, not only in the economy, but in the security also of the country. You have a big destination, 50 states, and some of those states are mainly relying on their doing business for agriculture, for services about those immigrants. If some of them are not illegal because the previous administration gave them the opportunity to be around and give them a hope that this is the country of the future, that's going to be, I think, critical from different points, economy, politically, and the security as well.
Mr. Champion, what do you think of what he says?
Yes, my colleague makes an excellent point. The sheer number, 10 to 20 million immigrants that have come into our country over the last 3 years, this is causing destabilization. It's causing friction with the American people. And my colleague is right. This is a massive undertaking. Trump has said he wants to focus first on threats to national security and the criminal gang members, remove these most dangerous people first. However, as we have seen, the United States right now is in a state of turmoil. We're in a very sensitive time with the outgoing administration and the incoming new administration, many different changes in policy. So yes, the 10 to 20 million immigrants that are in this country now that Trump is indicating he wants to deport, he's taking a hard line. This could be very disruptive, and it will lead to increased sensitivity and increased tensions in the states, especially as my colleague said, some of the states rely on these immigrants for agricultural employment, to pick crops, get food to the table. So the United States is in a very tumultuous time right now. We have a lot of internal conflicts, not just within the Democrat Party, which has many internal divisions, but we're seeing these internal divisions come up in the Republican Party over the Middle East, over immigration, over how best to tackle our economy, and many sensitive issues. So the next couple of months in the United States are going to be a time to watch to see what happens during this sensitive transition of power before January 20th. Also to see what happens January 6th when this new Congress swears in the new president and certifies. We will see how that will go this time around in 2025. And essentially, the American people are watching Washington, D.C. Everybody's waiting to see what happens. This is a very sensitive time.
Ms. Champman, do you think Elon Musk will succeed in making the United States government more efficient? Of course, this is a question that I think it's a global question. It's not my question alone or the program's question.
That is an excellent question with Elon Musk. Initially, some Republicans said, if you want to cut down the size of government, why create a new agency with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to cut down the size of government? However, people have high hopes. As we have seen, the American federal government has become massive. We cannot even account for where the billions of dollars we are spending are going. If anyone can do this, it would be Elon Musk. He is famous for walking into Twitter and firing 75% of the employees, and Twitter appears to work even better than before, according to Musk. So this is going to be very controversial. Government agencies are going to resist being audited and being cut back. And the Elon Musk project is supposed to finish July 4th, 2026. So we have that time to see how he does cutting down the government, cutting out waste, fraud, overspending. We will see how successful he can be. He likely has the best shot of doing this, but this is a monumental task and there will be much resistance.
Are you optimistic? Briefly, because I have to wrap up the episode.
Yes. Well, I am optimistic. There seems to be a sense of optimism in this country now after November 5th. We will see how far our optimism carries us as we encounter the realities and day-to-day functioning of the government. But
and we wish you all the best of luck. That was Ginger Chapman, a Republican Party member, and Ahmed Maharim, writer and political researcher. Thank you very much for your insights and informative knowledge. And of course, as Trump builds up his team for a second term, the choices made raise crucial questions about the future of American governance and its role on the world stage. How these dynamics unfold will likely define next chapter of American politics.